Welcome to Golf Ball Addict. I'm your typical average 10 handicap golfer who has a huge passion for, you guessed it, golf balls. I review, you guessed it, golf balls. But not just golf balls, also golf tech, clubs, accessories, anything I can get my hands on that even has the slightest chance of lowering your score. Why are my reviews different? Well, simple. Most golf ball reviews nowadays rely on computer simulations to tell you everything, with no passion or human experiment involved. They never talk about the value or the pricing, the design options, or even the customer service. They let the computer do all the talking. I'm here to change the way you think about golf balls by providing you the best in-depth reviews and to ultimately find you the best deal that you can get for the best performing golf ball. Hey, my fellow golf ball addicts. We are here. We are here at the top 10. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you all watching so loyally, getting all the way from 100 all the way through 11 so far. And this is it, the final 10. These golf balls all do everything well, let's be honest. Most golf balls up until this point, even 19 through 11, they did a lot of stuff really well, but they didn't do everything well. There was some fault, even if minor, to all of them. Not really the case with the top 10. I've tested 100 golf balls on this channel over the last 3.5 years, and I've had some of the best, most loyal, most awesome followers join and be along for that ride. And truly, it's such a blessing, and I'm so thankful for it, and I'm really appreciative for it. And these 10 golf balls are really the accumulation of what this channel's been about. Finding out what works for the average golfer, finding out which works for the average swinger. So let's dive right in. So I'd ask you, this one's gonna be a little longer than usual, so relax, maybe pour yourself a drink, and let's have a good time. And relax, this is apple juice. Woo! Let's go. All right, so my closing thoughts. Do I recommend it? Who is it for? Well, listen, so if you guys are new to the channel, the veterans will tell you that when it comes to tour golf balls, I just usually don't recommend them. But I'll be honest with you, I will recommend these. The golf ball had amazing durability. The spin was off the charts. The distance was off the charts. It felt amazing. It did everything it was supposed to. I love the designs of them. There's just not a lot of things this golf ball does wrong. Tour golf balls do not get a lot of love on this channel. I'll be completely honest with you. They just don't. The main factor being because this channel is about value. That's one of the most important things of the channel. If there's a golf ball that performs just as well as a tour golf ball and it costs half the price, I'm going to recommend that golf ball that costs half the price 10 times over. It just makes the most sense. Why would you spend double the amount? I mean, even if you're someone who's made of money, it doesn't exactly make sense. I mean, you're not buying a Rolex, you're not buying a watch or a car or anything like that. You're buying golf balls. You're just going to hit it into the woods anyway. So what's the point in spending the extra money? I mean, who cares if your friends laughed at you? If you're beating them in golf, they have nothing to laugh about. I mean, it's basic stuff. But, however, that doesn't mean that tour golf balls don't perform well for the average swinger or don't make sense for the average swinger sometimes. And that was the case with the Callaway Chrome Soft. When I first went into testing the Callaway Chrome Soft, I didn't have a lot of expectations. At that point, I'd still really hated tour balls. I hadn't had a lot of success with them. They just ended up being really expensive, and some of them were okay and some of them were good. None of them were great though, and they all cost a fortune, as far as my eyes at least. And it didn't make sense. And so really I was kind of just going into this review, rolling my eyes, not expecting a lot. But then I realized that the compression of the Callaway Chrome Soft was actually significantly lower than most other tour golf balls. It was actually in the low 70s, which actually means that for the average swinger, it could still come off very soft, very squishy, which is what a lot of, intermediate, beginner, or even some skilled players want. They want that soft feel. And that's exactly what I got with the Callaway Chrome Soft. It felt amazing. It performed amazing. I had absolutely exceptional numbers with both the 9-iron and the 7-iron. Now granted, with the hybrid, it just became average, but everything else across the board was really well. It jumped off the club. It had great durability, especially for being a tour golf ball. And, you know, the value probably knocked it down a little bit. That's probably why it's at 10 and it's not at, you know, 4 or 5 or in the top 5 somewhere in there. Is because, yeah, the value ain't great, I'll be honest with you. And for 2024, they've actually moved to the Chrome Tour, and it's the same price as the Pro V1. So I'll be honest with you, I doubt the Chrome Soft Chrome Tour is in the top 10 for 2024. I doubt it is, unfortunately. With that price increase being as much as the Pro V1, it's going to have an amazing performance to outstand that. But for now, we're testing the 2022, I believe, version. So it actually makes the list, and actually I'm really impressed with it. It's still one of my favorite golf balls to use out on the course. It spins really well. It comes off the putter nice. It really just does everything right. And if you're an average swinger and someone who's really good at golf and you want a tour level golf ball, I haven't been able to find one better for average swing speeds than the Callaway Chrome Soft. Another thing that Callaway has done extremely well is they've come out with brand new designs in 2023. You know, yeah, the golf ball does have a basic white design, a basic yellow design, but something else it has is it's actually done a bunch of new ways to have alignment tools. If you don't like the triple track, you can do the 360 triple track. If you don't like that, you can do their new, you know, picture system, kind of like the TP5 Pix has. Callaway is doing a lot of innovating, and they're trying to reach a broader audience. They've put a ton of money into making their golf balls better and, you know, manufactured better, more circle, less defects, things like that. It's hard not to give Callaway a lot of credit, and the Chrome Soft continued to impress me time and time again. And even as I do this video right now, I just got done playing golf after work today, and I played the Chrome Soft, and I loved it, and it did everything I wanted it to. You know, I wasn't good, but the golf ball was great, and that's really just a testament to how good that golf ball is. I hope the Chrome Tour is even better, but at that price point, again, I don't know. But with what Callaway's able to do with the Chrome Soft, with the new designs, the performance, the softness, the feel, everything they did, it cracked the top 10. So really good job, Callaway. And that might not be the only Callaway ball you see in this top 10. 100%. Durability does not get much better than this. This is right up there with any tour ball. So coming into this review, my big question was going to be, can this golf ball just hang with the other ones? That's really what it was going to be about. It did that. It blew me away. Now, one of my favorite things on this channel is when you, the viewer, come to me in the comments or direct messages, email, whatever it is, and you say, hey, listen, have you tried this golf ball? Like, I've been using it. It's phenomenal. I love it. I enjoy it. I think you'd really like it a lot. And then I test it, and you're right, it is phenomenal. I mean, that's awesome. That's what this is about. You know, it's about community. Yes, I'm trying to find great golf balls for the average consumer, but it's also a community of everyone coming together and saying, hey, have you played this? I played one the other day and it was really good. And then I can actually bring these numbers and show you. I do the dirty work, so then you guys know what works and what doesn't. There's tons of golf balls. And I'll be honest with you, most of you who are watching this right now are probably thinking, Anesis 900, what are you talking about? It's just another one of those golf balls that you haven't heard of, and there'll probably be more on this list too. But yes, the Anesis Tour 900 was recommended by a man named John, probably for 2 years on the channel, to be honest with you. He's one of my most loyal followers. Always commenting. I love him. I appreciate everything you do, John, but he recommended this golf ball for a long time because they were available to him in Thailand. He could actually just get them easily available, and he said he loved it, and he's like, you got to try it, you got to try it, you got to try it. So I finally did. I contacted the company directly. They actually were nice enough to send me the golf balls, and I could not believe the performance. The first thing that I immediately noticed was that when I hit the ball, it really felt like rocket. It felt like it just came off the club so fast. And I actually kind of had to relearn to hit some of my clubs because I would hit a nice smooth 7-iron expecting it to go 150, and instead it went 160. And I found pretty soon that I was clearing the green over and over and over, and I'm like, well, I got to tone it down. It just feels so soft and so springy, but that's not all. This golf ball had absolutely incredible 9-iron, 5 hybrid, and driver numbers. The 7-iron was just okay, but I'll be honest with you, if the 7-iron's just okay and the others are phenomenal, that could have been mishits. You never know. The ball speed is off the charts. You know, the design is, you know, it's okay, but it has a good alignment tool, and although it's going to throw you off with the logo because you're not used to seeing Anesis, it's not bad. It actually looks appeasing to the eye most of the time. It has a thick coating of urethane, and guess what? It's $29.99. It's actually a very inexpensive expensive golf ball when you consider the fact of the market it's in, the target. You can order them, in bulk and get free shipping. Honestly, it was really, really surprising how good the golf ball performed. I couldn't believe it. It was from some company, Decathlon. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. It's like Decathlon or something. Apparently it's really popular overseas. They do have an American division, but again, this is just one of those underground golf balls that kind of comes out of nowhere. You don't see it coming, and I was just so impressed with the performance. I used the whole dozen. I went out and played with them, loved every second of it, and it's definitely a golf ball that if you gave me a bunch of them, I'd play them. I mean, I have no qualms against it. It's absolutely amazing in every regard, and the durability lasted me, honestly, about 2 playthroughs, a playthrough and a half, 2 playthroughs, and that's if you survive that long. Most people can't. So really, it did a lot of things right. Like it's a firm press. Gives you a little bit of feedback to know how it's coming off with the 60 degree, chipping around, putting around, things like that. It comes off the putter very hot, but it also does offer just that tiny little bit of feedback. I actually usually prefer more feedback than that, but at least it has some. So I like to see that in a tour golf ball. And I'd say the Vice does it enough to get a passing grade for sure. Vice is nice, let's be honest. So one of the first golf balls I reviewed on the channel, one of the first 5, 10, something like that, is I did Vice Week and I went through all the Vice golf balls. And, Vice has just been a company I've loved since I saw their first online ad, and boy, did I see a lot of them, and I've loved them ever since. Vice does so many things right. It's easy to buy their golf balls. They're a great value, $38 a dozen. But if you buy them in bulk, $31 a dozen for a urethane tour level quality golf ball. A great logo, a great design. It gives you confidence. They're fun. You can show your personality. You can be unique. They're always coming out with different designs. There's a collector's market here. They have a Jack Nicklaus, collector's edition golf ball. They have pizzeria. They have so many different levels of types of golf balls. And you know what? It's the only golf ball brand and manufacturer I know of to where when I see one of their golf balls, I don't even always think about playing it. I just think, hey, is this a special one? Do I need to put this to the collection? I have so many in my collection that are just, special editions and one-offs. And, yes, I would use the golf ball, but the fact that they have that element too is something that makes them truly unique. So their design, 10 out of 10. Customization options, 10 out of 10. Ease of buying, go into your local Walmart, go into your local Target, 10 out of 10. You can buy them on their website, get them in bulk for cheap, 10 out of 10. It's just amazing. Now, the numbers are pretty darn good. They have a great performance across the board. Now, these numbers aren't top tier list. They're just really good across the board. And the reality is that if Vice had these numbers that jump off the page like some of these other golf balls on this list you're going to see do, it'd have been number 1 and number 2. I mean, period. It does those other things so well. It's so consistent. They're fun to play. It's fun to be a part of the Vice community. The numbers are awesome. What it really boils down to is, although the performance is awesome, it's just not perfect. And because of that little tiny detail in it, it knocks it down a little bit. Now, is the performance bad enough to where you're like, well, Nick, is it going to affect my game? No. No, it isn't. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. We're really splitting hairs here at this point. Vice golf balls are still ones I use. I actually got some on clearance at Walmart when they were clearancing them out for the season maybe a month ago, and I got the Drip, which is another one of their amazing designs. And I got them, I think, for like $17 for the dozen. I'll be using them. I love them. I absolutely love them to death. Vice also does a phenomenal job as far as, they have a line for everybody. If you want to hit the ball low, it's the Pro Zero. If you want to hit, if you want a softer feeling tour ball, the Pro Soft. If you want just a regular tour ball, the Pro Plus is the firmer golf ball. The Vice Tour is kind of your everybody value ball. Then the Drive's a 2P. They really cover all bases well. Their marketing department's phenomenal. I just can't say enough good things about Vice. They do so much well, and it's easy to see why they're the fastest growing and the #1 direct-to-consumer company, and I don't see that changing. I think they're going to be for pretty much the long haul. So kind of weird, right? Back to back. I don't know. When we get the Bushnell launch monitor, we can really get more in-depth numbers as far as your spin, your 50-yard pitch. These might separate a little bit, but for now, I really had similar results with both golf balls. The only reason I put the Vice Pro Soft ahead of the Vice Pro is because I do like the feel of it a little bit better. It does seem to spring off the club. It has a little bit more forgiveness, but that's really it. Everything I just got done saying about the Vice Pro, it's a copy and paste right over here. Again, Vice just does so many things well, and they deserve these 2 spots in the top 10 for sure. Essentially, their moderate swing tour golf ball. It's the budget tour ball. Runs about $32, $33 a dozen, and honestly, it performs really well. However, this is kind of a different rendition of that. It's supposed to have a different cosmetic design, and I'm looking forward to reviewing it today. Let's find... What in the great googly moogly is this witchcraft? You know, in the 1980s, Ping tried to do something very similar to this, come out with a 2-tone golf ball, and you know, at the time, it just didn't end up working out. You know, I couldn't tell you if it was performance-based, if people just didn't like it, but here we are, 2022, and Srixon decides to bring it back and do the same thing, and they come out with the Srixon Q-Star Divide. Now, keep in mind, this is not just the Divide. This is the Q-Star Tour in general. So whether you play the regular white ball or whether you play the yellow or whether you play the Divide, it all applies here. But the Divide really is what helped propel this to get it to 6. Because again, yes, does the golf ball perform amazing? It sure does. In fact, the Q-Star Tour had an absolute amazing value at $32 a dozen when it came out, especially for a urethane golf ball. And what the Divide did was it essentially allowed it to have multiple designs to where, yes, if you want to play that just basic golf ball, you can. But if you want a golf ball that's also going to help you with your game and you can use kind of as a training tool, like, hey, did I hit that putt right? Did I hit, you know, these chips right? It allowed you to do that. Being able to line the golf ball up with the sides, yes, I know it looks like a fishing bobber, but it's going to turn some people off at first. But you'll grow to love it because when you realize when you putt it and you realize you mishit it, or when you chip it and you realize you mischipped it, and you can see the feedback instantly from that golf ball, it really helps a ton. It really helps your game improve quickly, and it just lets you know, hey, you're doing something wrong, or even, hey, you're doing something right. So that's another good thing about it. The golf ball had an amazing, good, consistent performance across the board. The numbers were great. Yes, it's designed for modest swing speeds. If you swing fast, you're probably not going to like it. But as far as the greenside performance, design being top tier, the value being great, it really just solidifies its spot here. It does everything really, really well with really very few weaknesses. Now, as far as the 2024 outlook, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little disappointed in the price. When it came to 2023, this golf ball increased to $35 a dozen, which $35 a dozen isn't the end of the world. It's no longer that great bargain like it was, but it's not bad. But now this year for 2024, the price has increased to $39.99 a dozen, which is $40 a dozen. We are officially out of the good value, you know, bargain, and we're into, okay, that's getting kind of expensive. And so do I see this golf ball cracking the top 10 in 2024? I hope so. I hope they've made enough improvements with the performance to where it can still help get it to the top 10. But with that hidden value, I don't know. But as far as that 2022 model goes, that 2023 model, yeah, it absolutely deserves to be here. It's a phenomenal golf ball all the way around. That's impressive. So overall, it's really hard not to just be super impressed with this golf ball because, again, once you test golf balls in this range that are under $1 a piece, I don't expect much out of them. You know, basically it's a beginner's golf ball. It's not going to spin much, you know, A, B, C, D, E. You're always going to sacrifice something because you have to. You're cutting so much money out. But I can see why this golf ball is so popular because it just performs. It jumps off clubs no matter whether it's the 9, whether it's the 5, the 7, you know, your driver, your long irons, your chipping. It just seems to jump off the clubs. It's very consistent. Even miss hits were right where I wanted them to be, which is great. A lot of you are going to be surprised. I mean, look, I get it. I get it. If you are new to the channel and you haven't seen what we've been doing and you haven't seen the numbers and you don't understand, like, I thought this was a crap ball. Everyone makes fun of it. I've never heard anyone say a good thing about it. I get it. But look, that's not what we're about on this channel. It's just not. We're not about this on this channel. We are all about finding great golf balls at great values, and we test them, and we don't test them on a learning curve, and we don't test them on a, any type of that. It's just, look, does the golf ball perform? Does it have value? Does it do everything it needs to do? And the answer for the Precept Laddie is absolutely. It has an incredible performance. At the time I tested it, it broke so many numbers. It's so soft, it's so squishy, it's so forgiving, it just jumps off the club. The 9-iron, the 7-iron, the hybrid, everything was phenomenal. The driver numbers did kind of get back down to a good average, just slightly above average, because I was over-compressing it. I'll be honest with you. It's a soft golf ball. It's intended for slower swingers, beginners, things like that. But as far as the rest of those clubs, phenomenal. I couldn't believe the numbers when I was testing it. They were just so darn good. One of the best things about this golf ball also is its value. It's $1 a golf ball. And here's the thing, it's made by Bridgestone. A lot of people don't know that. Most of these high-end golf companies all have a ball. For TaylorMade, it's the Noodle. For Titleist, it's the Pinnacle. Most of these big companies have, a golf ball that's like $1 a golf ball. They just sneak in there for some sneaky value to get a little extra revenue. But this is Bridgestone's. It's the Precept Laddie. And so a lot of people don't know it's coming from a reputable company. It's coming from a company that knows what they're doing. And you can tell that. You can tell that by the performance. The durability was just okay. And I'll be honest with you, that's probably what keeps it at 5. That's probably what propels it from not being number 1. But everything across the board's really good. And I guess the other thing would be the design. I don't really harp on it too much, but the design, I'll be honest with you, and you be honest with me. When you see a Precept golf ball and you look at it, do you think, that looks like a good golf ball? Or do you think, I'm going to throw this in the lake? Exactly. So the design could use a little revamp. It could use a little updating. It hasn't been updated in 10, 15, 20 years or something. Could use a little update. But everything else as far as your performance and your value across the board, really great. A lot of people are going to be able to come into golf new, need forgiveness, and be able to hit this ball really well. It's not the most forgiving golf ball ever. It's not, the most eye-popping golf ball I've ever hit, but it's probably top 2, top 3. It's close. So really impressive from Precept Laddie, and it's one of those that a lot of people are going to, I'll be honest, when I tell a lot of people about it, they kind of look at me sideways for it. I don't know what to tell you. The numbers are the numbers. I like it. Like this, it probably won't last through the whole round anyway. All right, so in conclusion, how could you not be really, really impressed? I loved when they redid the redesign of the Prime earlier this year. I think they've always been phenomenal. They have a great price point. They understand direct to consumer. They understand what the idea is about. They're providing really good quality golf balls at a price that we all can really afford. It's a lot more affordable than, your tour line. Anyone who's watched this channel for a long time knows that I love Snell. I love what they do. I love Snell himself. There's so much history there as far as changing the golf ball world. If you don't know, Dean Snell invented the Pro V1. His designs ended up becoming what is known as the TP5 and the TP5X from TaylorMade, and now he's essentially branched out and done his own thing and created his own company that's a direct-to-consumer, and he's one of the few people out there that just understand direct-to-consumer. They get it, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people just don't understand that. So love Snell golf balls. The Prime and the Prime X were also both very high on this list and given really high regards. But the Snell Get Some is their 2-piece golf ball designed to, beginners, intermediate players, forgiveness, straight, long, and boy, it just does all those things really, really well. I actually tested the golf ball not too long ago, and I could not believe at how I gained so much distance. Gains of 5-6 yards per club. The durability would definitely get you more than a round for sure. It has a really good value at $20 a dozen, but also if you buy them in bulk, you can get them a little cheaper than that. And Snell for the 2023 season came out with a brand new design that was really cool and really innovative, and I've played some of my best rounds with this golf ball. I actually played at Cabot Citrus Farms recently, and I shot a 78, and it was because of the Snell Get Some. I was on fire. It was one of the best rounds I'd ever played in my life, and it was because of the Snell Get Some. It's just a really, really good golf ball. It does what it needs to do. It gives you that extra boost of energy you need, that extra boost of forgiveness you need. And I honestly, if it wasn't for me screwing up like I normally do, I could have shot a 75 or 74. You know how it is. You could have shot a lot of stuff, and the only thing that keeps it out of the top 3, the top 2, the top 1 is the short iron numbers were good. But that's it. They were just good. They weren't great. They weren't phenomenal. And that little tiny detail was just enough to keep it out of there. But honestly, it's number 4, and I'm happy with that. It's a phenomenal golf ball. 121.1 on the ball mile per hour speed. Hot diggity daffodil. That is fast. I mean, that is super fast. That is super fast, seriously. Like, I mean, the ball ain't lying there. You know, another thing I love about this channel and I love about doing these reviews is that, yes, sometimes you guys surprise me by, you know, offering a golf ball I didn't know about. And sometimes I'll go into a golf ball not expecting a lot and it'll turn out really good. And then sometimes there's a golf ball that I'll test and, you know, at the time I think, you know, this was okay, whatever. And then when I go back and really dive into it and really take the numbers at face value and dive in and do a little bit more of a deep dive as far as what the golf ball performed at, and then I'm like, well, wait a minute, this was phenomenal. And that was the case with the Callaway Superfast. Now, I got to give a shout out to one of my followers here. He called it. I mean, there's just no way around it. He told me multiple times on multiple different videos, hey, you're underestimating the Callaway Superfast. Like, you reviewed it, and based on your numbers, it was phenomenal, and you don't talk about it. You don't talk about it at all. He called me out, and rightfully so. Because if you had asked me, where does the Callaway Superfast come onto this list before I made it, I'd have said, I don't know, 50, 60, 70. I wouldn't have even known. I'd have been like, average golf ball, 60. But then I went in and deep dived into the numbers and looked at how well it performed and how great it did and its durability and its price point. And I thought, well, wait a minute. No, this is phenomenal. First of all, let's talk about the feel. It comes off the club so super fast. It's spongy. I mean, really, you have to kind of tune your chips and stuff because the ball will roll past the hole because it just comes off the club so fast. The value, it's $30 for 15 golf balls. It's a very good value. Getting that extra sleeve of golf balls in there is actually pretty nice, to be honest with you. It has an amazing feel, and the numbers across the board were awesome. It really does jump off the club. The short iron and the driver numbers were good, not great, and that's the only thing that keeps it out of the top two. But it also has a variety of great designs. You can get them in different colors. They're the red, the greens, the mattes, and they're just really, really fun to play. They're really fun to play, fun to hit, fun to be involved with, and again, ease of access. You can buy them anywhere. Callaway just really did such a great job with this revamp they've done over the last couple years, and the Super Fast was one of them. They used to be the Super Hot, and those golf balls I always really liked as well. I always really enjoyed them, but then the Super Fast came out, and for some reason it just got overlooked. I don't know why, but when I did the review, I even went back and tried to look for some clips, and you can just see my face in the review. I'm not that excited about it, but then you look at the numbers and you're like, well, these are all phenomenal numbers. They're some of the best numbers you've ever hit, and the value's pretty darn good. Why are you not liking it? I don't know. Sometimes I guess that happens. I'm human. I'm not perfect. But wow, I'm really impressed, and shout out to you who, I mean, seriously, you called it. You knew it from the beginning, and it is number 3. It is the 3rd best golf ball out of the 100 I've tested. It's phenomenal. So one of the things we talk about on Golf Ball Addict here is we search for the perfect golf ball, and I will tell you that the search will, of course, continue, but we have definitely found one of the big winners so far. It's very rare I test a golf ball that has this type of consistency, this type of jump off the club, this type of forgiveness. I mean, it was just a really amazing golf ball, and it doesn't surprise me because, again, you guys have been telling me for 2 years that you really like them. You know, there's some die-hard fans out there that are like, Nick, you got to try this golf ball. I've had really amazing luck with it. You got to try it. You got to, and you guys were right, 100%. I know what you're thinking. I had this at number 1 on my list too. When I was guessing and I was figuring out what golf ball I thought was going to be number 1, the Wilson Zip I thought was going to be number 1. Now, before we talk about why the Wilson Zip did not get the number 1 spot, I do want to mention a couple things about it. First of all, it's by far the ball on the channel that holds, you know, the most memories in my heart for a couple reasons. One, because I've had, no lie, if you go look at, I mean, you can go fact check me, you can go look at the video. I've had 30 to 40 people over the course of the last 2 years, 2.5 years, however long ago I reviewed it, get on that golf balls review, on the video, and comment and say, hey, I play this golf ball because you. Like, it shaved 5 strokes off my game. It shaved 6 strokes, 7 strokes. I've heard so many. This golf ball really represents 100% true what Golf Ball Addict's all about. Me testing a golf ball that most people have not heard about, a golf ball that's $1 a golf ball. Some Walmart, oh, they only sell them at Walmart, 24 golf balls for, $24. It makes no sense. It's a junk golf ball. It's, for, old men and beginners. No, it's really, really good. It's one of the funnest golf balls I've ever tested. I've recommended it to everybody, and I've never heard a bad thing about it. And that's the honest to God's truth. I've never had anyone come back and tell me, yeah, it just wasn't for me. Or, oh, yeah, it was okay. They're all like, wow, I never would have guessed it. And that's why this channel is so cool, and that's what makes it so great, and the community, all that. Because we can take golf balls that other companies, I can tell you right now, I love my Golf Spy. They're not going to tell you to play the Wilson Zip. They're just not going to. You know what I mean? They're going to be testing tour golf balls and medium golf balls and hitting them with a robot and saying, 115 mile an hour and going, oh yeah, that's okay. What? I'm able to test golf balls for the average golfer like the Wilson Zip and help you guys lower your scores. And that's what it's all about. Having fun playing golf and not having to spend a freaking fortune. So yes, the Wilson Zip definitely deserves a top 2 spot. Why doesn't it get the top spot though? Well, before that, let's talk about the good of this golf ball. It's the most consistent golf ball I've ever tested. It's so consistent across the board on its numbers. What makes it so consistent? It's forgiveness. By far the most forgiving golf ball I've ever tested. Now, if you're new and you don't understand, forgiveness is something I test on the channel quite a bit. It's when you hit it off the toe, or you hit it off the inside a little bit, or you hit it off the bottom a little bit, you don't quite hit down on it enough. How many yards do you lose? Now, with golf balls like the Pro V1, I lose 10, 15 yards. TP5 is even worse, 20 yards. They're so firm that if you just don't compress them 100%, you lose a lot. The Wilson Zip, I was losing like 1 or 2 yards on misshits. So a golf ball, instead of being, a couple feet past the hole, it was in line with the hole. So even on mishits, it's like I'm a foot short. Well, who cares? You can still make that putt. That's what makes it so great. That's why you're seeing these strokes shaven from people who are playing this golf ball, because it has such an amazing, consistent performance and forgiveness. The numbers across the board, I'll be honest with you, they're not eye-popping, but they are all good numbers, and they're all really consistent. $1 a golf ball is phenomenal. You're not going to get a better value than that. Any golf ball that's $1 a golf ball is the best value. They're extremely underrated. Everyone loves it who tries it. It does all that really right. So what keeps it out of the top 1 then? What keeps it out of the top spot? Well, a couple things. The first one is because those numbers aren't eye-popping. They're good. They're consistent. They're forgiving. That's awesome. But they just don't pop off the screen like the number 1 ball does. The other thing is, this is minor again, but the design, it's okay. When you look at the golf ball, you don't exactly feel confident. It looks a little cheap. It feels a little cheap because it is that, it's a $1 golf ball. What do you expect? Got that cheap iometer, kind of blend cover. So, yeah, it gets a tiny little mark there. The numbers were good, but just not great. So a tiny little mark there. And those 2 things were enough to keep it out of the top spot. But you know what? It's still a top 2 golf ball. It's phenomenal. And I know a lot of you really love it. A lot of you had it as number 1 on your bingo card. So I know that's disappointing. But it is what it is. The numbers are the numbers. That's what I always say. The numbers are the numbers. And so it ends up at the number 2 spot. But it will always hold a special place in my heart. Now for the bad news, I don't know if Wilson's continuing the golf ball. I've heard rumors that they're going to discontinue it. That's not available on their website anymore. I really hope they bring it back. But at this moment, it's looking like they might not. So I hope that's not the case. If they do end up discontinuing it, that ball's going in the Golf Ball Addict Hall of Fame. I'll make one. I don't have one yet. It's not something I have, but it'll be the first golf ball enshrined in the Golf Ball Addict Hall of Fame. It's that important to the channel. It has that many memories for me, and I know that a lot of you, at least 30 to 40 to 50, are going to be really disappointed if that golf ball gets discontinued. So here's hoping they bring it back in 2024. So last but not least, who's this golf ball for? Why am I so excited about it? Because this golf ball is for the guys who love spin. This golf ball is for the guys who say, hey, you know what? I'm playing on some smaller greens. I really need this golf ball to stick where I land it. That's going to be this one, 100%. So, I've mentioned it on the channel a few times. what does a golf ball have to do to be the best golf ball I've ever tested? It's not about being the longest golf ball because, an extra yard or two, who cares? It's not about, being the most durable because, heck, you might lose it anyway, or who knows, you might bang it off a tree or something and scuff it, and so you'll get another one anyway. So it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to last you 2 full rounds. A round and a half is fine. It doesn't have to be $1 a golf ball, and it doesn't have to be $5 a golf ball. It just needs to be a good value. Are you getting a good value for what you're paying? It needs to have, a really good design. It needs to feel, you need to be confident when you look at it. Things, simple things, details. The devil's in the details. Does it have a good alignment tool to help you line up your putts? Does it have a thick coating of urethane to help it stop on the greens on chips and stuff? Things like that. And most importantly, yes, does it perform with the golf club consistently? I don't want just great 9-iron numbers and great 7-iron numbers and then, okay, 5 hybrid, okay. No, I want great consistent numbers across the board. I want everything to be really, really good. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing's perfect, but I want it all to be really, really good. And that's what this final golf ball did. I wouldn't have guessed it. I wouldn't have guessed it myself. When I tested the Sugar golf ball, I was extremely excited about it. I went into it with no expectations. I tested the golf ball, was super excited about it, got the review out. I was giddy because the numbers I got with it were out of this world. The Sugar golf ball had exceptional numbers across the board. Everything from short iron, mid iron, long iron, driver, everything was awesome. The durability was a 5 out of 5. The value is really, really good. Essentially, you can get this golf ball for, they call it the Sugar Cube. You get 27 golf balls for around $60 to $65. They end up being around $250 a golf ball, which, is that the Wilson Zip Dollar golf ball? No, but for a 3-piece urethane tour-like mimicking Value Tour golf ball, it's pretty darn good. And what I really like is they also offer a trial pack. If you want to try, a pack of 3, I think it's like $7 and you can try them. That's what I did. And, it kind of just gives you this no risk trial to where you can see if you really like it or not. But the Sugar golf ball does so many things correctly. Everything from the numbers, and like I said, the devil's in the details. It has a very simplistic design. The logo is a nice cursive. It looks professional. It reminds me of the Titleist logo a little bit. They did such a great job with it. The alignment tool is simplistic. They don't have anything on the side gunking it up. It's just a simple black, thick alignment tool. And then, of course, the whole golf ball is wrapped in a really nice, thick layer of urethane coating. When you feel it, it feels premium. It feels like one of these $50 a dozen golf balls you're going to be hitting with it. It feels like something like, okay, no, I'm not cheaping out. I'm not getting a lesser product. I'm still getting the same quality of product. I just didn't spend a fortune on it. For the price that I could buy 1 dozen Pro V1s, I bought 27 golf balls. Value, that's what's there. And I don't usually show numbers like this, but check out these performance numbers with the 9-iron, 7-iron, hybrid, and driver. You can see right there that just across the board, it was really phenomenal. And again, the Sugar golf ball, what's really crazy about this is that, yes, when I tested it, I knew it was a great golf ball. I knew it cracked the top 15, 20, somewhere in there. But I had no idea it would be number 1. And the thing is I rank these golf balls essentially out of a score of 70 based on the 7 categories I test them on. This golf ball wasn't number 1 by a little bit. It wasn't like, it just barely edged out. It won by a pretty significant margin. Like, if it was a Mario Kart race, it would be like the equivalent of him crossing the finish line and, you're playing your little brother in Mario Kart and you put the controller down and go make you a snack and he's still racing, trying to come up and he finishes in 2nd place. It was a pretty wide margin, like really, really wide. And that's because, again, it doesn't do anything perfect per se, but it just does all the categories so well, like a 9 out of 10, that it's just, that's what propels it to first place. That's what I told you from the beginning was what it was going to take to get this golf ball number 1 or get a golf ball number 1. And the Sugar golf ball does that extremely well. Now, if I had to nitpick and say, well, I wish something was a little different, I wish that they essentially... I wish you didn't have to buy them in a cube. I wish you could just buy a dozen. Yes, you can buy the trial pack, I get it. But having to buy them in a cube, yes, $60 isn't a lot to most people, but if you're someone like me who it is a lot to, I would love to play the Sugar golf ball, but I got so many golf balls in my garage. The last thing I need to do is buy a sugar cube with 27 of them. My wife would have my head. You know, it's just too many golf balls. I don't need to always buy in bulk. Sometimes I just want a few of them so I can, you know, play around with them. And plus, I don't lose that many golf balls. So I don't want 27 of them. What am I going to do with 27 of them? Put them in a tub and clean myself with them? Don't give me any ideas. But I don't always need that many, so that's like a minor one. But again, for most people, it won't be. If you're someone who wants a 3-piece urethane tour level golf ball, you don't want to spend a ton of money, this is it. I mean, this is what most golfers are looking for, is something like this, something that's relevant to the Pro V1, that looks, feels, acts kind of like it, but it's for an average golfer. There ain't a golf ball in the market that does it better than the Sugar golf ball. So congratulations, Sugar. I'm really, really proud of that. I'm really proud of you guys. Congratulations, you guys deserve it. So there it is. The top, not the top, ranking the 100 golf balls on the channel. That's where we're at. That's what we've come to. Really exciting. So where do we go from here? Well, as you guys know, I posted a video recently. We're buying the Bushnell launch monitor. I'm going to be able to test all the brand new models for 2024. There's still a bunch of golf balls out there I have not played yet, have not tried. And essentially having more numbers and more data is going to help us even more. And yeah, I'm just really excited about what's going on with the channel. The last 2 months with doing these videos have propelled my followers and the amount of attention I'm getting and the audience it's reaching. I'd love for you all to be a part of it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do. Please be involved with this. Comment, like, subscribe. We want you a part of this community. It's a really fun community to be a part of, and I cannot wait to bring you even more data. The spin numbers for wedges is going to be phenomenal. Getting 100% accurate numbers is going to be phenomenal. Doing side-by-sides. And essentially what I'm going to do is when I review a new golf ball, what I can do now at the end and the conclusion, instead of just saying like, who's it for, yada, yada, I can now come back to this top 100 list and say, okay, where would it fall in this list? You know, for example, a lot of you are asking about the new Speed Soft from TaylorMade, the ink ones, you know, which I already have and I've already been testing them, so trust me, it's coming ASAP. But you want to know, where does it fall in this top 100? You know what I mean? Like, where if I had to rank it right now, where would it fall? That's going to help you kind of understand a little bit better as far as how good the golf ball is. Because I can tell you like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. Well, we have a lot of golf balls that are pretty good. But if I say, hey, it's pretty good and it would fall 56 on the list, okay, you know it's a bottom 50 golf ball. Like, it is what it is. It ain't worth my time. But if I say, hey, you know what, it's going to fit 27th. Okay, it's a top 30 golf ball? Okay, well, you know what, it's worth a shot. Maybe if I find one, I'll play it for a couple holes. That's going to really help as well. So again, thank you guys so much for watching these. I know this one was really long. They've all been long. You've stayed tuned. The excitement, the comments. I'm just really blessed and I'm really thankful. So here's to an amazing, actually, I'll toast this apple juice to an amazing, amazing 2024 as we, you know, continue this great path we've been doing and trying to find out which golf balls for the average golfer, you know, the 99% of us, which ones truly are the best and which ones truly work the best for our swing speeds. Until next time, guys.